What if you were
वैश मत ही पूछो.
हम लोग रेगुलर लोग हैं, है कि नहीं? क्या बोलती है तू? आम जनता, मैंगो पीपल, राइट? हमको प्रैक्टिकल होना है, प्रैक्टिकल जिंदगी है, राइट?
So Vaish, what are we talking about today?
I know why we do this every single time.
Arey, because we have to give some context, na ki in the
Yeah.
heading you can only put like 5 words or something. So explain ki how we got up early in the morning. We are in different time zones. I am literally on Thursday or on Wednesday, and we got up to make this episode happen.
Yeah. Okay, so we're talking about what happened last week with the episode that went viral slash crazy with India's Got Latent. And we're going to share some thoughts, some questions, some speculations, and what happened around it.
Okay. And Vaish, matlab, do you watch the show? Like, have you watched it before, or do you watch it, or are you a fan?
Someone told me about it, and then I watched, I think, an episode. And to be honest, I didn't connect with it so much, so I didn't watch it. But then when someone's watching it, I will sit beside and I will watch it. And it also reminded me too much of Roadies, and Roadies was very big. Matlab bachpan mein, like when we were growing up, Roadies was like the cool show on MTV that you would watch, and it would be like, oh my God, look at him, like he's bullying him and all of that. But I feel like now I was just like, huh, theek hai, it's fine, it's nice.
Vaish, we watch roadies like till now.
Really?
Then we go on to speak about roadies for 15 minutes.
Do you watch the show, the India's Got Latent?
अरे ब्रो what मैंने ऐसे खुद होके जाके कभी देखा नहीं है but me has been watching it since episode 1 and it used to play in the background like I used to just hear it and even I was like not the biggest fan
Yeah,
but then I'm like
yeah.
ठीक है चल रहा है तो चल रहा है so I think after
Same.
like after their Rakhi Sawant episode is where I was like bro I love Rakhi Sawant I was like ये मैं
I
देखूंगी
haven't watched that episode. और अब तो
I really
all
like
babies
that.
देखा
That
है
that
so
episode was just something else only because okay, I think I just like Rakhi Sawant a lot. So मैंने इतना नहीं
we need
देखा
to talk
like how.
separately about that, but okay.
So I was not a fanatic, but I've watched. मतलब at least I've heard all episodes and I've
I
watched
watched
two.
one or two episodes. I watched the Tanmay Bhatt Raghu episode, not entirely, like thoda thoda. I watched like parts of it,
Okay.
and that
And
also I watched it because I think after that Raghu came on a Tanmay Bhatt podcast, and in that they discussed that, and so then I went back and I watched it.
Raghu, who? Raghu Rajiv.
Yeah, yeah. Raghu came on some podcast, not podcast like those videos that they all like just upload. Na like he gets like a group call me and then they do that. I don't know if it's that podcast, but
Ah.
But has his channel pe. So
Bro, have you been watching Samir Raina's journey since Comic Stan?
no, I didn't know he was a part of Comic Sun. I
Did you
found out
watch
because
Comic Stan?
I watched only the first season. I think
Okay.
first and second season of Comic Sun. Rahul Dua and like all of those people when they're
हाँ.
coming. Like I watched that season. उसके बाद मैंने नहीं देखा है.
Okay, okay. I don't remember. I think दो ही season थे. I don't remember. But every time Comic Stan has come, I've watched it.
But like I know like my friends, my family, they've been huge fans of the show. Like I
Yeah.
remember like someone messaged me because Samay Rana was doing a live stand up in Canada, and someone messaged me saying, you know what, you should go. He's doing this live, and then they sent me, and I was like, okay, but I was like, ठीक है, but I was like, अब मुझे $100 देना है, तो मतलब मैं अपने पसंद के इसके लिए जाऊँगी. It was yeah. But
But
I know there are people who really like it.
everyone talks about him like मतलब he is good, he's great. So Comic Stan के बाद he did stand up. Then he ventured into chess. He made a big name there. And now he's come back into this. So everyone, he's a very highly acclaimed comedian.
Person. I think he also, I don't know if it's interview or what he spoke about like financial planning and things like that. And I think that also went sort of viral because I don't know if it was his interviews or he did a podcast with someone. I don't know what it was. But I also heard like he spoke a lot about that, of how to manage money and things like that, which
Oh.
also got.
Bro,
Matlab,
so
I
यहाँ
was giving me gyan about managing money. So in that it came up.
so in India's in India's Got Latent was just everywhere. Matlab, even when I go to office now, everyone would just be like, "Oh my god, did you see the last episode?" And they would just crack jokes about it all day, and then they would talk about the episode like in depth. And I was
Yeah.
like, "That's just so cute," because everyone was just talking about it so much. Even in marketing, all the brands were gone crazy. Ki, bro, this is the place
There was a
for
lot of, yeah.
product
I
placement.
think they do different products now in different
Yeah,
episodes.
and
Yeah.
apparently they charge also a lot. Like so. It was
Dude,
really
I saw
good.
yesterday when this controversy happened, I was like, I wanted to see what it was about. Dude, each episode had more than 40-50 million views
Yeah.
on YouTube. So which is like a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Vesh, do you want to
Plus,
tell what exactly happened? How did the controversy start? And just in case
okay.
someone's living under a rock and they don't know.
Okay. So, so in each episode, there's usually some special guest that comes in. In this episode that blew out of proportion, there was Ranveer
Just with
Allahabadia, Jasprit. There was Ashish Chanchalani
Ashish Chanchlani, the rebel
and
kid.
Kid. Yeah.
I think the
So
rebel kid's real name is Apurva, maybe, but I
yeah,
just know her as rebel kid.
yeah. And she also has an Instagram messaging channel called Rebelicious.
Oh, nice.
It's very
Dude,
funny how I said this, but no, I didn't. But yeah, okay. Um, Actually, I'll tell you how I know this. One of my friends was saying that she got into a fight. This was, I don't know, back in India. One of my friends said that she got into a fight with her boyfriend, then boyfriend. And she's like, bro, I think like he's texting someone and this and that. And I was like, bro, bas dekh le, to dekh le. I was like, just get it over with. Like, stop being in denial. And she's like, no, but if I check, then it's what if there's something? I was like, just get it over with. Turned out to be because she saw a lot of hearts in messages. So like whatever. So turned out that Rebelicious channel has a lot of hearts after the name, and it turned out to be that channel. And I was like, I was like, who's Rebelicious? Like, where did this come from? So
and
that's
why
how
is the guy on the chat?
I don't know. I didn't ask follow-up
Bro,
questions. I was
because
just
I मतलब ऐसे मैं जाके देखती नहीं
yeah, I
हूँ
think
लेकिन
she's
मैंने
a
रेबल
famous
किड के
influencer.
बहुत वीडियोस देखी है and she's just like this Gen Z nibby kid bro who like she's very entertaining, I'll give her that. And her whole humor is around she abuses a lot. She talks about how being a red flag is okay. And my niece is in love with her. Like she talks about how being Kaleshi is totally fine. Whatever happens in her life, and her content's extremely relatable. Like one of her videos is so funny where she's just like, मेरे घर के कॉकरोच ही नहीं मर रहे, मैं सब ट्राई कर रही हूँ, मैं जहर का लड्डू बना रही हूँ पर कुछ नहीं हो रहा है. So you can watch her videos for hours and hours and hours. It's very entertaining. So that is why I'm like, why would this guy be in this nibby girls chat?
She could be like relatable for on different levels and different ages.
So she is known for this kind of humor only, where she talks about how others are kaleshis, how others are red flags, how she is a red flag. And I think I like it. She's cute and she travels a lot and she's a full time creator and she's very famous. Very, very.
Okay. But apparently she deleted a group and all of that after this controversy. After
Okay.
this. So anyway, so in this episode, these guys were the guests, and usually there's a lot of dark humor. So background on the show. Do you want to give a background because you watch more episodes than I have? Like, it,
Background on the show, yeah, it's called India's Got Latent. It's like India's Got Talent, but the faltu version of the talent. So a
yeah.
contestant comes to the show, they have 60 seconds, they can perform anything, and after that, the guest and Samiraina ask them questions, and then they give them rating, and if the contestant ki rating is
What
equal
he
to the
gives himself.
average, what he gives himself is the
Huh.
average of what the guests are giving, then he gets to keep all the ticket sales. And I think the concept is very cute and chill, and I'm like, it's cute, yeah, I love it because you know that you can be absolutely shit, give yourself two, and for all
What
you
if
know, you'll get that,
everyone?
and you still win.
Yeah.
So that is the
True.
concept of the show.
Yeah.
And every yeah, as you said, कि हर episode में new guest आती है, ये वाली episode में
Correct.
जसप्रीत आया. And my brother is one of those losers or sweet. my
Like, he's one of all our all-time supporters. So please, can you not shame them on this episode?
Last time my brother messaged me, there goes
Thank
my
you for
59 rupees. Because he's like, all the episodes are deleted. Arey, dude, you can ask for anything. He will have the subscription for it. Like, it can be the most, it can be like ukulele sessions for 389. And he'd be like, shut up and take my money. He has it all. So yesterday, I was telling him कि bro, मैंने पूरा episode नहीं देखा जितनी reels trending हो रही है वही देखा है.
हाँ,
So I was
same.
asking him what all happened in the show. And he watched the entire episode before the backlash started and he said nothing happened. It was just a normal episode. And
Normal in the sense of how India's Got Latent videos are
yeah,
like in
yeah,
that tonality. Yeah,
in that tonality. And he
yeah,
was like, when Ranveer Allabadia said this line, he was like, I looked at Pooja's his wife, and he was like, they both looked at each other and they were like, oh, the show's over, like it's done.
yeah.
They both knew it in that second कि bro इसके ऊपर बहुत ज़्यादा backlash होगा. And it's exactly what happened. So this is how what the
Yeah.
show is, this is what the controversy is, and now we are all on the same page. So tell me, Vaishnavi, what do you think, like, was the reaction justified, was the backlash justified?
Yeah, to be honest, now I think this comes from, for example, like you said, the rebel kid Apurva has her own brand, okay, where she abuses a lot and she talks about being a red flag and like all of those things. So like her brand is known, okay, so it's not sort of a surprise. People are expecting that kind of humor from her. Samay
Hmm.
Raina's humor is something like people are liking, and that's why they're watching the show. Now the thing is, I feel like Ranveer Allahbadia has gone one step above and made a brand for himself कि मैं तो सिर्फ शिव जी की बातें करता हूँ, मैं तो सिर्फ मेडिटेशन की बातें करता हूँ, मैं तो सिर्फ आफ्टर लाइफ की बातें करता हूँ, and you know, like he said that tonality that everything is about your inner being and greater good and like all of that. That's literally what he talks about and honestly, so much so that it feels fake even on his episodes. Because after that point, no, I'm serious. Like I know people who and genuinely like I'm not saying that what he talks about is the problem, not at all. But I feel like वो after a point वो genuine नहीं लगता है क्योंकि it comes across how much can you fake talk about something. So when you've created that kind of a brand and then you come back and then now the and even after he made these vulgar comments or questions and these what if questions, even I think even somewhere and I was like bro ये क्या पूछ रहा है कि मतलब तो he's like अरे मैं beer biceps पे ये सब नहीं पूछ सकता ना, although that was a joke, clearly that was a joke, but the thing is कि आप मतलब अपना पूरा वो लेके and I genuine यार मुझे लगता है उसको ना फनी होना नहीं आता and he tried really hard with the dark humor thing which is not his genre. It is not at all his like his area of expertise, and I think that backfired very bad on him. And I do think you can't say shit like this to people. At least I think it's a good thing that you can't say shit like this to people anymore and it can be okay. Because yeah, you're hurting and you can't talk about like families and women and it's not cool. I don't think it's cool anymore to like dark humor is I appreciate dark humor, aisa nahi hai. But I feel like you need to like Samay Raina's dark humor, he knows a line which he does not cross. ठीक है वो भी बहुत लेता है लोगों की वो बहुत करता है but there's a line where he doesn't make it uncomfortable for someone.
Bro, I have heard, like, have you watched Kusha Kapila's roast?
No, but
Oh,
I saw it in one of the reels, the one he did in Comic Stan, right?
नहीं, उसका एक अलग से रोस्ट ही था यूट्यूब पे where
Then I don't
Kusha was the
then I don't
like she was the main person who will be roasted. And bro, like it was like जो समय का session था whatever he was roasting, I paused it and I was like मैं नहीं और सुन पाऊंगी bro because I was so uncomfortable. So
oh shit,
whatever
really?
he has said on Latent, like whatever
I
he
missed
says on
that.
Latent, I don't even I don't even bat an eyelid. So usually how I watch Latent is I'm sitting here on this table, I'm doing my work. Me is watching Latent and I just hear all the jokes. Latent में उसने ऐसा कभी कुछ crazy बोला ही नहीं है. What he usually otherwise says, which is way worse, like he's cracked some very straight up bad jokes on Kusha's roast.
They didn't that also didn't people go crazy about that also? And I think she also put out saying when I accepted for this roast, I didn't think this is what was gonna happen. Yeah, ऐसे कुछ हुआ था. Was it this roast? I remember was this last year?
शायद या मैंने काफी हाँ
क्योंकि
after the divorce with Zorawar, it
yeah,
was after
because
that.
there was a post that was put out, I think by Kusha कि भाई जब मैंने roast के लिए agree किया, मुझे नहीं पता था कि ये सब होने वाला है. I don't know what roast that was about. I just know that something like this happened.
Yeah, everyone else was pretty sweet and like, they roasted about her weight and about her eyebrows and her failed marriage. But Samirana just took it look to some very, very dark level. And so basically all this backlash that is happening today, I'm like, guys, he said way worse. Like
It's
that
true.
was very FIR worthy. And hum ek saal baad after felicitating him with so much love and money and respect. I'm like, if you didn't put a stop back then, now
Why?
abhi it's too late. And अभी तो I'm like I thought कि bro वो बहुत collateral damage में पिस गया है. But dude, you're right about like Allabadia, right? I used to I still love his content. Like I've
I
watched
like his
all.
content. I watch a lot of his podcast because
उसकी
I
जो अभी
feel like
लास्ट
he's
पॉडकास्ट मैंने वो
very
पूरी वापस
interesting.
देखी as soon as it released the Quran and the Jinn one. I was like,
I
so
know
that
also.
is so he started off as beer biceps and he spoke about nutrition and health and keto
Yeah,
recipes and all of this. And then his brand moved on to different things.
yeah,
At one point he started many businesses and he was like I can't contain them all, I'll only focus on one. And then he started podcasts, and then the podcast also started very normally where he was just interviewing like normal people and all whoever was ready to come for the podcast. And then he had this like, oh, I like to explore ghosts, I like to explore this. So then it went into that direction, that took off. And then it
Yeah,
went into a direction where he's like, oh, I also like meditating. So it
yeah.
became like a very open platform where he
Holistic.
talks about
Yeah, yeah.
geopolitics and religion
Yeah,
and all of
yeah.
this. तो you're so right कि उसने वो इतनी बड़ी वाइट वॉश्ड ब्रांड अपने लिए बनाई है, then I'm like, you can't say it, like, because you have made a whole living out of this, and you have like so many people, like right from kids se lekar my nana dadi dada, they all watch.
Everyone watch. Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
like I'm
Want
sure
to
my
live up to the
grandparents don't
brand.
know who
Make
Samir
sense.
Raina is. Huh.
Yeah. No, 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 I agree. Yeah, it's like Virat Kohli endorsing like नहीं नहीं fitness की कोई बात नहीं है दारू पियो. Like it's literally like that because like if I mean literally ना क्योंकि आप नहीं सोच सकते हो कि भाई विराट कोहली fitness के अलावा कुछ he's so fit that he would not be endorsing anything other than that.
Yeah,
So
and
you
I've
have a
actually
brand,
seen
then you should live up to it.
my nana and nani, like, even so they are super active on YouTube, they watch all these reels and all. Even they get Alabadia's reels, like that is how diverse his target audience is, like right
Audience.
from me till my niece to my nana nani, like he's
Everyone
making.
watches it. And also he makes
Yeah,
it in Hindi and in English, which gives him a larger audience for them
yeah,
to watch, which I think is a very good thing. And he
yeah.
chooses his audience also for Hindi in a way that even people who probably generally in their taste watch English podcasts, they also watch the Hindi
Hmm.
ones. It's not so Hindi कि मतलब मुझे समझ में नहीं आएगा, for example, right?
Yeah.
It's not one of those कि मतलब पूरी वो
uh,
भगवत गीता की भाषा बात कर रहे हैं, ऐसा नहीं होगा. No,
अरे,
genuinely, I
in fact,
understand.
I've heard his in Hindi podcast. So मैं उसके हिंदी इंग्लिश दोनों podcast सुनती हूँ, and somehow in the Hindi podcast I don't even realize that it's a Shuddh Hindi podcast. And initially I used to like see him struggle with forming questions in Hindi. Now it's just such a smooth transaction. So like, as a creator, I've always liked him, and I'm feeling so. I'm
Are you
like,
feeling
hug diya
bad?
yaar bande ne, hug diya bro.
Do you think it was worth the reaction that it got? Was it more than what you think it should have gotten? Or
Yeah, I think it was like, yeah, what he said was extremely wrong. So I'm telling you now, like,
yeah.
I'm not even that big a fan of dark humor because I get offended. And
No, I
matlab,
get offended easy. As long as it's not being said to me, it's fine. But that
yeah,
though, I feel like that's what I said. Now you can't say shit like this to people and say it's funny and like be okay with it anymore.
yeah, dude.
I don't think it should have ever happened, but thankfully we live in a time and age where it's okay to say that bhai, this is not fine.
Yeah. But my only thing was, कि, like, because of this one incident, which was very bad, like, his entire life and career and trajectory has just been washed away
Yes.
because of this one. Like, imagine, he was like felicitated by Narendra Modi.
Yeah.
All of that down the drain, bro, because he just tried to be so cool in that 1 second, like, and
But I think
uske
it'll
saath
bounce
saath
back.
he's taken latent also. Latent bhi band ho gaya, bro.
Yeah, but I think it'll bounce back. Have like I feel like not exactly in that show. I'm not saying the show's coming back, but remember what happened with AIB after the
Yeah,
roast?
yeah,
So I mean, although AIB didn't come together, individually people went out and look at Tanmay, but
yeah.
he's still like killing it and like he's doing so well. I mean, he's really good at what he does. But I feel like eventually, I feel like it'll bounce back. So today, Mrigank was telling me that on Twitter, there's also speculation that a lot of TV houses, I mean, media houses, wanted to like added to the fire क्योंकि they were taking away like Ranveer Allahbadia and like India's Got Latent and all have been taking away a lot of viewership because now people have started moving towards YouTube and like watching all of that.
Yeah,
So
this na, I think, like, I don't agree with, क्योंकि I told you ना, अभी मैं recently Ahmedabad गई थी, and
हाँ,
in these cities, right, like, we see India a lot through the lens of, like, say, Mumbai, Pune, Bangalore and all,
mm,
but majority of India is watching TV. Like, there is a reason why, even if you put advertisement through a TV medium, it's still the most expensive and it's the most effective. Because
yeah.
TV you cannot take away from the masses. Bro, all day people are watching Tarak Mehta on loop. There are no new episodes that are coming. It's the same show on loop all day and people are watching it. So even my father-in-law, we have a smart TV, but he doesn't watch that. He goes to the cable and he watches the same
People
use.
of our ages don't watch TV
Yeah,
as much anymore. Like people, like
yeah, yeah.
I know people who now move, including myself, including like मेरे घर पे वगैरह भी now people have moved towards YouTube की open करो Netflix कुछ आया है
Yeah.
नहीं है Prime खोलो like open all these 2 3 apps. Oh, I don't find anything nice. Okay, it's fine. Chuck it. Just open YouTube and watch something. Like even I watch a lot of podcasts now while having dinners or like on weekends or if I just am bored. Very randomly I'll open like and watch a movie. At least latest तो नहीं ऐसा मन कर गया कि पुराना कुछ chick flick देखना है
Yeah.
Bollywood देखना है. That's a different thing.
Yeah, earlier, cable TV was, shaping what you watch. Like they decide
Yeah.
कि अभी तुम CID देखोगे, अभी CID देख के खत्म हो गया, अब तुम सूर्यवंशी देखोगे.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I think it was also beautiful कि at the same time the whole of India is watching that same thing together. Like
Yeah.
everyone's watching Shoo Koi Hai together. But
Yeah.
as people evolve, they are like, yeah, this is not what I
I'm
want to
telling
watch.
you, it was so effective. I'm actually a little scared being alone at home right now, even talking about it. Yeah.
So, bro, yeah, that is what I feel. Allabadia, whatever happened was extremely wrong. But also,
Yeah.
he's built that whole career over decades, and you
Yeah.
like it's. But I'm not saying it's gone, but uska jo repercussions hai, it's gonna be so high.
So
Maybe,
serious. Yeah.
yeah. Like Latent is was such a money making thing, bro. Like Samira Raina was earning like mad. Gone, dude. He's deleted all the episodes. All the brand partnerships have been pulled out. Allabadia ke brands have pulled out. A lot of his guests have said, "I have
Also,
nothing to do with this guy." I was
yeah,
like, "Oh
his
shit."
upcoming guests and everyone have said like I think B Prak was his next guest also put
Yeah,
up saying I'm not gonna like support and like such creators and like things like that. I also read some posts that his girlfriend broke up with him. They were cryptic posts and I mean the repercussions are honestly too much and it's not like for example let's say in the last couple of years people have really come to know him but he's put in years and years probably more than a
yeah, dude.
decade into becoming who he is and all of that getting washed away because of that like you said that one moment you just wanted to be cool is not worth it. It's just not worth it.
So Allabadia ka to jo hua wo hua. Rebel Kid, like, dude, that was crazy that she just said that one line, which I did not even find it so offensive. I found it like,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Matlab, dude, she, like, last night I was reading,
You
she
know
has
the
been
guy
to
that
Tihar
she
jail.
said it to, he also said a lot of shit. Like the guest on the
Yeah,
show,
bro.
like the participant, like he also said a lot of shit. Like the her response was, I
Justified in
mean,
that context.
mean, offensive, all of that. Yeah, but even that guy said a lot of stuff that he shouldn't have said. So it, I mean, but he was a participant. So yeah, but the dude at Ranveer Allahbadia thing made me very uncomfortable because I was like,
Yeah, dude.
it made me very uncomfortable, and it made me feel like it genuinely made me think कि भाई तू शिवजी वगैरह के बारे में प्लीज बात मत कर इसके बाद like तू भगवान के बारे में तो इसके बारे में बात मत कर इसके बाद literally like you it because you start thinking this is the thought process of someone really it might
Yeah,
not even
really.
be, but that's how you feel as an audience you're like is this the person whose content like made me feel good about meditation like that's how you start seeing that contrast in
Yeah.
is that really who you say you are.
Bro, it's like when Adam Levine cheated on his wife. And I'm like, तुम तो please मत ही गाओ ये सब प्यार की बातें. When he was messaging that girl like, oh my god, you're so hot, I can't even believe it or something. And then she like leaked the chats out and I was like, वाह, यही बाकी रह गया था.
And हाँ and Adam Levine was a अरे यार वो मूवी का नाम क्या है
Uh,
this movie that he's
love,
a
love actually. Is with
oh,
Kiara Knightley,
no.
na?
Yes, yes, you know what I'm
Yeah,
talking about.
yeah. I
And
love that movie songs.
I dude, there's one song where there's an Adam Levine version and there's a
I know
lady
exactly
version.
that song what you're talking about, and he is in the studio and he's singing. And
Yeah,
bro, every time I listen to that song, goosebumps. Because
yeah, I know.
because I'm like, yeah, see, when you're an artist, na, if you just bare yourself, like this is it, like you're
Yeah, yeah.
naked from the inside. मतलब this is your soul, this is your heart, and वो गाने में मेरे को लगा, मैं भूल ही गई कौन सा गाना मैं कितना सुनती थी वो लूप पे सुनती थी, but I
मैं भी
love
बहुत सुनती हूँ यार.
it.
And no, but उस movie में भी like funnily enough, he's the one who's cheating. He's the one who would have cheated.
Yeah.
Very, he's the one. Adam Levine is the one who would have cheated. ना उस movie में भी. So yeah, I mean
And
that's the
Vaishnavi, what are your thoughts on Ashish Chanchlani and Jaspreet Singh? Just like वो लोग बस ऐसे टच करके निकल गए वहां से.
yeah. Uh, I think it's a good thing in that sense कि उन्होंने ज़्यादा कुछ बोला नहीं. They were I don't want to say safe, but maybe they're not. I also don't want to say nicer because like it's like judging someone based on what they've said wali baat. But I don't know. I think they knew that this is not the right thing to say, or they knew कि भाई नहीं करना ये सब. And yeah, FIR, and I'm sure even they will have repercussions for just being a part of the episode. Like just for that, they'll definitely have to face something. बट आई मीन अच्छा है, ज़्यादा नहीं बोला। अरे मुझे तो मैं बोल रही हूँ रणवीर अलाहाबादिया के लिए मुझे जितना ऐसा लग रहा है कि भाई तूने क्यों बोला, मुझे उसके लिए ऐसे भी लग रहा है फनी इज़ नॉट योर थिंग, व्हाई डिड यू इवन ट्राई इट? लाइक दैट्स लिटरली व्हाट आई फेल्ट व्हेन आई सॉ इट, आई वाज़ लाइक दिस इज़ नॉट योर थिंग, व्हाई आर यू इवन ट्राइंग?
Yeah, so in all the panels that Samir Raina gets, there is like some theme that connects them all. And so this theme was content creators. And I think that Ranveer Allahbadia just confused it as comedians because that's Ashish Chanchlani. Rebel Kid is hilarious. And so is Jaspreet Singh के मैंने ज़्यादा वीडियोस नहीं देखे बट या एंड हमने कि यार तुमने ना ऐसे बस तुम मत बनो यार कूल
I
कर
know.
दिया है
Yeah,
गंदा वाला
sad to think यार कि मतलब something you worked on for so many
या
years has gone down the drain. Not so, I'm sure it'll bounce back because good
या
content is something people still do want to watch. After this whole, people will move on to the next. And yeah, to be very honest with you, this was the new thing today that this was being discussed in the parliament and like all of that. I'm
mm.
not saying offensive humor or anything is good, but I genuinely feel there are bigger problems that need to be discussed at that level, like safety of women in our country and like all of, there are much, in my opinion, there are bigger things that need to be discussed than this.
Bro
So
there's I think ना uh, so जब भी हम ये पॉडकास्ट शूट कर रहे थे I didn't know the whole context ki what happened in the show. I just saw the reels that were circulating and I thought something way bigger than that has happened. So dude, I watched some very dramatic news channels. I watched Arnab ka show and all. क्योंकि हमने exactly हुआ क्या था. And I stupid of me to think कि, news channels will give me that information. And they've taken it to some very different angle only. They've spoken about, ki how, in India we respect women and we give her the maa ka darja and this and that. And they were like, oh, and look at people like this rebel kid who have taken that and thrown. And I'm like, bro, तुम कहाँ से कहाँ लेकर जा रहे हो? They are
yeah,
like,
agree.
women is like our Ma Durga and all. And I was like, this is going so out of proportion. But
No,
till
but it's
now,
true. They treat all women like that. Like, can you please pull up the crime problems that are going on literally related to
yeah,
women in the country and can we fix that? Like, and I agree कि हाँ भाई मतलब लड़की देवी समान होती है and all that, but do that in every sense. Don't pick one content वाली चीज and blow it out of proportion. And I'm not saying that, all I'm saying is there are bigger problems in
yeah.
our country that needs fixing, and I feel like that should be the focus area.
And so many politicians have also commented on it. But another thing is ki because these politicians have been a part of the show on his show as guests, they just had to come out and be like, oh, because I know
We don't.
Fadnavis was there, he
Yeah,
was a guest, and they
yeah.
just had to be like, yeah, we have nothing to do with this and all. But Vash, I feel like this is one thing about fame, that when you support someone and you see their journey and you see them grow, this is what happened with Samir Raina. Like he had a very small niche of people who liked his content, and then they saw him grow, and then they were just like, yeah, he's changed, he's not a guy anymore. Like they see your idols grow and then they're like, yeah, अभी मजा नहीं आ रहा है because this उसके हमको like we had the rights to him.
Yeah, it feels personal, it feels
Yeah.
accessible. Yeah.
And usually, like, when a person at such a high level falls down, it's like that feeling where you're on the highway and then an accident has happened and you really don't want to look, but then you're just like, let me just see once.
That's
It's
a
like
bad
that feeling,
example. Yeah.
bro. It's like that feeling where a person at such a high level has fallen down and the whole world is like, oh, now what are they going to do? Like, the same
It's
person
sad.
you like loved one day back, huh?
That's sad. No, but that is sad. Okay, final thoughts?
Final thoughts ki haan, repercussions I 100% agree with, but I don't agree with whatever repercussions Rebel Kid is facing. With Samaraina, maybe maybe this was too extreme. Like anyway, अगर कोई कुछ करता भी नहीं था, he would have anyway faced backlash with like
I
people
felt
pulling
like
out
the
his brand.
show, yeah, I feel like the show would have eventually found backlash with its whole, the way it is.
Yeah, eventually, yeah.
Like, because people, someone will say that, हाँ भाई, it's borderline or not even borderline bullying, right? So someone would have backlashed on it.
Yeah. But I think the contestants, like when you go for
You know
a
what you're
crowd
getting
work
into.
session, you know
Yeah,
what you're getting into. Like you
yeah,
know that
yeah.
तुम अगर वहाँ पे crowd में बैठ के cool बनोगे तो तुम्हारी लेंगे ही वो. And the more they take yours,
No, no, but that's the thing, Sheena. Like we spoke now, you like dark humor, but as long as it's not about you, that's the
yeah,
thing, right? So once you're the one and you're getting asked these kind of things, I don't think then you're enjoying it as much as you thought you would, or you don't like
yeah.
it being on YouTube and everyone's seeing it. And I don't think then you're going to be enjoying these things.
Hmm. So my final thoughts are कि Allahbadia ने hug तो दिया है, but I don't know what are the other repercussions he's facing. Like I know Rebel Kid was taken to Thar jail yesterday, last
Oh
night.
shit, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. As far as I know, कि like the Indian judicial system is gonna make their family's
Yeah.
life also hell. So
Yeah.
maybe there needs to be a better way for handling
To
out these uh, क्या बोलते हैं सुनवाई.
yeah.
But हाँ.
Yeah. No, I
And
agree
what
with
are
you.
your final thoughts, Vesh?
Um, I think I'm in line with what you said. And I just hope things, I mean, in whatever way possible, get better for them, because it's sad at the end of the day. But yeah, it was a
Imagine,
short-lived.
Vesh. Imagine if our podcast becomes so big and something controversial we say blows out.
I'll just start crying only, Sheena. I too won't come back to India only. I'm in Canada.
Listen, first of all, crying is my first immediate reaction to almost everything.
Same.
Hello.
I'll first start crying, and like I think something happened the other day, and I started crying. And then Mrigang was like, "We need to think of a solution." I was like, "Give me 30 minutes, let me finish crying, and then we'll come to like practical thinking." I was like, "Just give me 30 minutes for my reaction. That's all that I need."
अरे यार पता है एक तो this knee is such a creep ना like anything like any fuck up that I have to do in the house ना he comes to know immediately bro तो कल ना like there was like a small pot in the bathroom and I was like oh the pot is looking dry so मैंने वो jet spray लिया and I sprayed it and the whole bathroom is like full of mud and I was like अरे यार now he's gonna yell at me and all and I was like my hands are full of mud and all and the whole thing just sprayed so I'm
God.
washing the bathroom and I'm washing everything and I've put the plant back I've come out I've washed my hands and I was like chalo phew dodged one and then like in the night Mir is like come here and I was like dude like I literally washed everything and he's like why is there mud in this wash basin and I was like अरे यार so then I'm just like 1-2 tears are coming out and he was like यार मैं तुमको डांट नहीं रहा हूँ मैं बस पूछ रहा हूँ and I was like yeah then I told him यार मैं जेट स्प्रे पूरा वॉल के ऊपर चले गया ऊपर भी चले गया and he was like नहीं पेंट के ऊपर I was like yeah
Okay. All
cool
right. Thank you so much. Please let us know in comments for all 5 of you who watch. What did you think? Do you think it's worth the blow up that happened? And if there are any topics you would like for us to cover, please let us know in comments or personal messages. And
you have a number like we are the only podcast where everyone has access to our address how well we poop that day because only 5 people watch it
And see you again next week.
okay bye
हम लोग रेगुलर लोग हैं यार, है कि नहीं? क्या बोलती है तू? आम जनता, मैंगो पीपल, राइट? हमको प्रैक्टिकल होना है, प्रैक्टिकल जिंदगी है, राइट?